Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answer they need from an employment attorney. Now, today we are answering a question from a YouTube user entitled "The Multidimensional Guy." This person appears to have like a political activism channel, which I think ties into the question. I want to be clear. I don't know their politics. I don't know their stances. Not answering their question is not an endorsement, because I don't know. I don't know anything about this person, except that they seem to be running a YouTube channel that touches on like math, data, and the trans community. I don't know if they're pro trans. I don't know if they're faux trans. Like a faux to trans, not like fake trans. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to be hateful here. Um, into the trans community, like I don't know what's going on here. Answering this question is not an endorsement of this person because I don't know anything about this person. Okay. So, the multidimensional guy asked us, well, first off, says, congrats on making it 20,000. Thank you. Next, here's a question. Say you are filing an EEOC claim and want to share the process as you go through it with the world without naming the companies involved or persons except yourself. YouTube video, for example. So I think when the multidimensional guy says except yourself, the multidimensional guy is probably referring to, in fact, the multidimensional guy, not me. I believe. That's my understanding. Would this cause issues with the potential optimal resolutions available for the case? And if so, in what ways? Okay, so one of the reasons that I was drawn to this question is that I don't know how many people in the world exist who are well suited to answer this question. So I wanted to answer it because I thought getting the answer out there would inherently be valuable. Because there's a lot of people, this comes up more often, at least in my career, than you would expect. And I have a lot of repetitions at this particular question because got some higher profile cases, got some involvement with a couple of different groups of documentarians who are working on different projects about this field. And I'm tied in with some groups who do a lot of media exposure for plaintiffs in this realm, right? People who have been wronged in terms of workplace discrimination, workplace sexual harassment, and want to share their story, right? I have always believed fundamentally sharing stories is how we change human hearts and minds. Litigation in this field is just me playing whack-a-mole. I can get my clients checks. I can't change the world. It's not going to work. Smack somebody around, 6 months later, they're back. I can monetize their ass again for my client, but I'm not going to make them a better person. Stories can. People empathize. People feel based on stories. A well done story is a tool, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, obviously. So I think the stories and the storytelling are very important here. So I always try to support people who want to do that, right? One of the things our firm offers and has offered for a couple of years now, if you're a victim of workplace sexual harassment, workplace discrimination, and you're being silenced by an NDA or a confidentiality agreement, we offer a free review. No strings attached. You can contact us, arrange to have an attorney here review your agreement, and then have a informed discussion about like what can I say, what can't I say, what is the risk, what are the possible outcomes, is this a good idea, is this a bad idea, and then you can make an informed decision about your risk and your risk tolerance and what you think is right for you and how big of a hero you want to be, right? And that sounds like me shitting on somebody like you're a hero. No, I actually think the people who take that leap are heroes. They're putting their interests in the backseat behind the good of society, in my opinion. Which brings me to the multidimensional guy, whom I know nothing about. Easiest answer here is yes. Being outspoken about your case will introduce risk and potentially degrade the value of your claims. It can. It really can. Now, by the same token, the court of public opinion can sometimes, when used artfully, become a pressure upon an employer and can increase the value of a case, right? So if it sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, I am a little bit. But let me kind of like, let's get into it, right? Let's try to keep this shy of a 15-minute video, though. Okay, so I don't know anything about the multidimensional guy, but I clicked on his channel. I think he's got 37 subscribers. Maybe the multidimensional guy has a huge outreach elsewhere. I don't know. I don't know if this person has a tremendous ability to operate in the public sphere, if they're really compelling, they're creating amazing content, they're changing hearts and minds, they're able to push large groups of people to their cause. If that is the case, or if they're working with experienced professionals who can do that for them, it's entirely possible that speaking out could be a valuable tool and weapon. Controlling that public narrative can be very, very important, right? In the absence of the talented and experienced ability to control the public narrative, it will harm your case. And I'm not like, I'm so smart, ha. No. Many repetitions, right? Like, yeah. You can go find my first press conference. You can go find it. Please don't. Please don't. Just 37 national networks stuffing cameras in my face and me being like, well, I guess I'm going to go down swinging. That my first time, right? My prior experience to that was being an assistant attorney to somebody who was doing press conferences who was not good at them, who made horrible faux pas at those press conferences. Literally just me wrangling this attorney being like, whoa, no, don't say that. Oh, no. That's not even part of the case. And that's not the client's name. And what's wrong with you? Right? Like that was my prior experience. And then I did my first press conference. It was huge. I may have PP'd myself. And then I made, you can watch me make an affirmative decision to be like, well, I guess we're just going to start fighting. Very clearly, I was like, I have lost control of the situation, so I might as well just fight and die on this hill. My client was next to me. My client was like, are we going to war? What's happening? Great client. Fantastic client. Everything ended up great. Great success, in my opinion. Got what my client wanted. But my God, right? So I'm not saying you are not a super talented person at this, multidimensional guy. What I'm saying is I would want you to have a great deal of experience and knowledge and savvy experience accrued before you just went full bore chronicling your case to the public. I would also want you perhaps to have legal advice from an attorney before each video or whatever you're putting out there goes live, because I think it's easy to slip up and disclose things that you didn't mean to, right? I'll give you an example. On this channel, we only answer publicly posted questions, right? If someone emails me something privately, I'm like, I'm not going to answer your question unless you go post that publicly, word for word. Because now I have information that maybe I need to keep confidential, right? And if I slip up and say something from which an employer or defense counsel or some other party can figure out something from, well, I've now theoretically breached confidentiality, right? It's really easy to do. So what I do on this channel is I brute force it. I don't want to hear a single word from you besides what you publicly posted, because then I can't possibly slip up and disclose something you didn't want to disclose. You're making the decision about what we disclose. I'm just reading it into the video after you've already publicly posted it. It's out there already, right? So having somebody review the videos and be like, well, okay, so you didn't use people's names, but like you gave the street address. So I'm pretty sure anyone with Google can figure this out, right? Like these things happen, right? That's the next consideration. I get why you would want to document it. I see the value of it. I've been talking about the Fight Employment Discrimination channel. I believe that's the name of the channel, which is someone who after her case against Nassau, documented her case on YouTube afterwards, right? So all over, and then she went and documented it to help others, right? That's an amazing service to the community, right? If that's what you're thinking, I applaud you, right? That would be amazing. So I see the value both for you and for the community and what you're looking to do in terms of documenting the EEOC process. I just am forced to kind of say like, well, you would have to be super smart about it, which is probably not a satisfying answer. It might also feel insulting because you might think that I'm saying you're not super smart. I'm not saying that. I don't know anything about you, right? What I'm saying is, 99 out of 100 people, frankly, 999 of 1,000 people who call me up for help do not have what it takes to manage. And I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying they don't have the experience. They haven't done this before. They've never managed the court of public opinion. They've never controlled the public narrative when a bunch of partisan reporters are trying to twist things for their own facts, right? Like there's just, it's a weird media landscape out here. And there's not too many people who mean well. Like we have a pretty tight-knit group of journalists that we trust and work with. Because there's a lot of them who call up and just say things like, hey, I want to attribute this quote to you. Can you just read what I wrote? What? No. What? Why? This is what I want you to say. I don't like this. I don't want to do this, right? Well, you're not going to be my story then. Okay. That's fine with me. Right? So I don't know if I usefully answered your question, except to say it depends. If you're really, really good at this and you're really smart about this, it could be amazing. And you could do it in a way that doesn't harm your case. Statistically speaking, you may not be successful at that. But that doesn't mean you won't be. It just means most people wouldn't be. I don't know anything about you. I wish you good luck with this. I'm sorry you have to fight with the EEOC. It's never good when you're being attacked on the very basis of your identity. That sucks. Always. But I hope for good things for you. And I will check the comments down below if you have follow-up questions, because I feel like I did a somewhat lackluster job answering your question. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below. Helps me to help more people just like you. And remember, almost everybody works. Not everybody wins. Be smart out there.